Hi! So, if you're here, I guess your motivation and discipline levels are not David Goggins.
You have to envision something that is more powerful than you. Something has to get you out of bed, and you have to create it.
Believe me, I've been there too. In fact, I was stuck in the cycle of bursting out with motivation and then just giving up on stuff within 1 week. But today, things are going to change both for you and me because this two-step system has changed my life and will definitely change yours. I achieved my dream body, mastered English language, and I've grown my YouTube channel all with this technique. So yes, it is really simple, but don't let it fool you. If you're struggling with something right now, just try it out, and I promise that the progress and the way you feel back on track will surprise you so much. So, jumping straight into the juicy part, 2 things that will keep you motivated and disciplined are pain-pleasure balance and systems. Let's start from the first one. Talking all things motivation, we cannot avoid dopamine. So dopamine is a hormone that is responsible for our motivation and pleasure. Now, I want you to think of the last time you felt pleasure from some kind of reward. It could be bubble baths, delish food, watching series on Netflix, anything. But next, I want you to recall the last time you overcame a challenge or achieved something. I bet it felt even better, right? But in both ways, the way you felt was because of the dopamine. So my point is, if you find the right pain-pleasure balance for yourself, you will experience frequent dopamine releases, which will keep you focused, motivated, and productive. Now, to give you even more examples of how this works, remember the last time you gave into pleasure too much. 2 hours of doom scrolling or a big piece of chocolate cake, which was too big. Now, let me guess. After that little crime, you felt a little guilty and discouraged. That's because the pleasure in your pain-pleasure balance was overweighting. Therefore, your dopamine system just had too much. But let's imagine that after leaning into that bad habit one last time, you tell yourself, no more sugar or no more phone, because you decide to completely quit it. And you try to resist the desire day after day, until it breaks out and you cannot anymore. So why did this happen? I think you already know the answer. You got out of balance again, but this time it was too much pain. It was too much challenge and no reward. Okay, fine. Now that I know how important your pain-pleasure balance is, how do I create it? Well, that's really simple. Let's take another example and say that you're struggling with sport. Not enjoying it, cannot stick, whatever. The first step is to analyze. How do I make the process more enjoyable and exciting? Maybe you love to train outside more than doing weightlifting in the gym. Another question is, how can I create the proper environment for myself? These are things like booking a group class, buying yourself new clothes, playing music that gets you into the mood, and so on. So think of everything that makes the process pure satisfaction and just easier to stick to. And finally, make it a habit to invite novelty. Definitely try out new ways of doing things and new environments to be in. Book a new sport class, cook a new recipe, work in a cafe instead of doing it at your home again. This is such a good hack because it brings in pleasure and challenge both at the same time. And that's exactly what we're looking for. These things can be applied anywhere and will definitely bring the excitement back. But as we discussed earlier, healthy long-term motivation also requires some challenge. Therefore, to complete the balance, the second list you should create is ways you will challenge yourself. Push a little further and invite new experiences into your journey. But challenge is a tricky thing. Our brain gets bored when things are too easy, but it also gives up when it's just too hard. So here are 3 main rules that will help you to successfully overcome bigger challenge every time and just stay on track. If you don't apply them, sooner or later things will collapse. First one, set measurable goals and deadlines. Make things as clear as possible when, where, and for how long you will do something. You could have a goal of training 3 times this week or 30-minute Pilates on Monday, 1 hour strength training on Wednesday, and 3-kilometer run on Friday. Another example is weekly goal to finish the scenario versus 1 hour work blocks daily and finish the scenario till Thursday. You just plan things in advance, therefore reducing the friction and making discipline so easy. Invite new challenge only after you've mastered a previous one. Think of this process as climbing a ladder, not jumping from a springboard. If you're new to reading, start from 5 pages each morning. Then increase it every week by adding 5 more pages to your goal. The progress can be slow, but the main thing is you hold yourself accountable for the plan you set for yourself. Finally, the last and the very important thing is track your progress. Get yourself a habit tracker or a whole journal for this particular activity and write everything down, everything that you do daily. I have a habit tracker, trainings diary, water intake tracker, and I set a timer for each work block session. All of it helps you to see that the real change is happening and makes it so pleasurable to do. You easily become addicted to ticking off those tasks and not breaking the chain. Also, we have talked through the process of setting pain-pleasure balance, and now you have no chance to fail. There is one more thing you should implement when working on your goals. And the thing I'm talking about now is system. The reason system is important is because it serves a fundamental function. There is literally nothing in the modern world that works without system. And the bigger the corporation is, the more complicated is the system. But I am here to simplify it all for you. First question is, do I even need a system? And when do I need it? Well, answer yes or no to these 3 situations and we will see. First, you lack discipline and consistency. Tasks take you a huge amount of effort and time to complete. As I mentioned before, disciplines and systems are interconnected. So expect no discipline from yourself if there is no system in the first place. Second situation, you find a problem or try to solve something for such a long time and there is few to no progress. Number 3, you constantly forget to do things. Sometimes minor steps are very important to our progress, but we just cannot keep everything in our head. So if you have recognized yourself in one of these 3 situations, I can truly say that applying a system will change everything for you. I will give you 4 main steps, but stay with me till the end because I will also provide one detailed example of how I put the system into practice. This way of building systems helped me to easily achieve my goals and become my best self. So, number 1, pick one area where you lack discipline and want to improve it. Number 2, outline and analyze main problems for this area. Number 3, set 2 to 3 main goals for your area. And number 4, build your system. So building a system is basically creating a plan for you to achieve your goals, implementing it step by step, and using tools to help you. These are all kinds of apps on your phone, reminders, trackers. Now, I want to represent it in action with one important for me topic, which I was actually struggling with. So let's analyze. My problem area is nutrition. My main problems are I tend to overeat and I also have high sugar cravings that I can't really resist. To keep analyzing, I understand that this is because my diet is pretty boring. I actually don't really enjoy what I'm eating. Therefore, my main goals are: first one, cook one new recipe each week to make it just more versatile and diverse. My second goal is to eat slowly and mindfully without distractions, to better understand when I'm full and when I'm hungry. Finally, I want to give up on added sugar on a daily basis because I know that consuming it too much just takes my energy away. Now I start building my system. This is actually something I've started to work on in 2025, so let me show everything, how it works, and tools I use. To make things easier with meal prep, I do everything on Sunday. So I go on Pinterest and look for recipes that inspire me. They include new meals or combos every week. After that, I open my meal planner and create a weekly meal plan so that I see everything I need to buy. And after that, in the same app, I create a grocery list and go doing groceries straight away. Lastly, I do all the cooking and boom! few hours of my day and I barely have to worry about what I'm eating for the whole week. I can make some changes along the way, but it's totally fine to adjust. So I worked through my first goal and now I move on to another thing, adding mindfulness. This one is really easy to break into steps. So week 1, only while you're breakfast, you eat at your dining table with no distractions, no TV, no phones. Week 2, you add mindfulness to it. Focus on chewing your food and don't put another spoon in if you already have one. After I've mastered my mindful breakfast, I move on and apply those same steps for my lunch and dinner. It can take different periods of time for everyone, but as you can see, main success lies in gradual improvement. Finally, I move on to my third goal, giving up on sugar. To make it easier, I decrease the sugar intake weekly while adding alternative sweets in. So, for example, I was eating sugar every day, and now I aim for 4 times this week. Next 7 days is going to be 3 times per week. I can have sweets, but on my day 4, I'm having something alternative. So it can be dried fruit, dark chocolate, whatever I like. And I work my way through until I only consume alternative sweets in healthy portions. And occasionally going out with my friends to grab some cupcakes if we want to. So let's summarize. By applying pain-pleasure balance and system, you can have so much fun in your process and so little resistance. Therefore, you have no other option but to achieve all of your goals. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. Today, in so much detail, I have shared a way to create a process that will be easy, fun, and so helpful in achieving all of your goals. Let me know in the comments in which area you're going to apply this guide. I'm actually really interested and I could also help with your further detailed planning. Thank you so much for being the part of our community. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be filming it right now. So thank you so much. I love you and bye-bye. I hope to see you in the next video. Don't miss it.